Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you about my favorite palette that I picked up this summer. There were many different palettes that I've picked up, but I do have a few that were my favorite. Could I pick one? No, not so much. But I did have kind of a tie. So if you're interested in seeing what my favorite summer palettes were from 2018, then just keep watching. The first palette that I want to talk to you about today is the Marc Jacobs 790 Fantascene palette. This is the palette that came out for summer launch. It is gorgeous with the pretty rose gold clasp and the pretty rose gold embossing. If you can see that, gorgeous. Marc Jacobs eyeshadows are beautiful. There's all of the colors. And I absolutely love this eyeshadow palette. It's gorgeous. It's a really pretty palette, but I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think I've only done 3 looks with it. It's not a palette that keeps me wanting to grab it and pull it in. Frustrating because it's an expensive palette. However, I don't know what it is about this palette, but I just really haven't pulled it a ton. It's just not something that jumps off the shelf and says, use me today, please. It will stay in my collection, but it's not something that I grab for all the time. So that was the first palette. The next palette that I wanted to show you was I'm thinking that the Norvina palette is the next palette. I'm trying to put these in kind of order as I purchase them, but it's not going to work in the end. The Norvina palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills is gorgeous. The eyeshadows are right here. I think that it's a beautiful palette. I love Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadows. I've used them for years. I always pick up her collection. This is a palette that I used a ton and continue to use. Doesn't to me look like a really purple palette like it was supposed to be. The only thing that I can say about this palette that I don't really like is the fact that it has this felt velvet on the outside. It gets filthy. Other than that, it's an amazing, beautiful palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. You can still pick it up. And I've used it in many tutorials. I think I've got 2 tutorials, or I've got a review on it and a tutorial. So I will link that down below. But this is a beautiful palette and one of the top palettes that I picked up for the summer. Absolutely love it. The Love, Trust, and Fairy Dust palette. I had absolutely no intention of picking this up and I fell hard for this palette. This has got to be one of the best palettes that I've picked up from Tarte in a very, very long time. There's the palette right there. Gorgeous colors. This highlighter, I wish that Tarte would come out with it as a single because I pull this palette a lot just to put that highlighter on. It's an amazing highlighter. It feels so good on the skin. It melts in. It is an amazing highlighter. I have gone hardcore on that. The colors of this palette are just right up my alley. They make my hazel eyes just really pop and stand out. Every time that I use it, I love the look. I am shocked by this palette. It's a limited edition collection. I think that you can still pick it up. But if you can, I would highly recommend picking this up. Again, it was an eyeshadow palette that I never intended on picking up. A co-worker had picked it up, brought it in, I swatched it and I was like, yes, it will be mine. And the packaging is so pretty. I do leave this out on my shelf so that I can see it all the time because it's so pretty. And that may be why I reach for it a ton, but just the blendability, the longevity of the eyeshadows on the eye are just gorgeous. And this is a really reasonable palette to pick up. So this is gotta be top 3 for the summer. The next palette that I picked up was the Urban Decay Beached Eyeshadow Palette. This is something that brought me back to Urban Decay. I love the Naked Heat palette, and when I saw this, and this I'm sure was sent out to a ton of influencers, they started using it on their channel and I literally fell in love. I fell in love and I went out and picked it up immediately. I have not used it a ton, I'm not gonna lie, but when I have used it, the looks that I've gotten are amazing. I do believe I have a video on this eyeshadow palette, so I will link it down below. Beautiful colors, long lasting. It literally, I mean, the outside packaging just makes you feel summer. I don't even want to put this away because again, this sits out on my shelf so that I can see it and feel summery. If you can still pick this up, from Ulta, I would highly recommend it. It may still be available on urbandecay.com, but it was affordable and really brought me back to using Urban Decay eyeshadows again. So this is the next palette, and I absolutely loved it. Another palette that I purchased, I don't know why I still have it in the box, is the Dose of Colors and I Love Sarahii palette. I had never purchased a Dose of Colors eyeshadow palette. I did do a review on this entire collection, so I will link that down below. So I'm not going to go huge into depth on this palette, but I'd never used a Dose of Color eyeshadow palette before, and I've always wanted to pick up one of their all matte eyeshadow palettes. But again, I prefer palettes that I can get full looks out of, and I like to put shimmer on my lid. So I never picked up one of their palettes. When I saw this in store, long story short, I wasn't going to buy it. I ended up picking it up, and I loved it. This eyeshadow palette is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful colors, last all day long. You can get complete looks out of it, and it's just really an interesting palette. And I have even been intrigued by watching other YouTubers use even the dark black with the shimmer in it, and I have done some looks with it, even wearing it to work with a really dark color. So I love this palette. Beautiful formula. Blendability is unbelievable. It's just gorgeous, and I hope that Dose of Colors comes out with more collaborations where you can pick up both their shimmer eyeshadows and their matte eyeshadows. I know you can purchase their individual shimmers now, so I'm hoping that in the future they'll do more of a complete palette. But this was an amazing buy and definitely one of my tops for the summer. So the next palette that I picked up was the Urban Decay Aphrodesiac palette. Now this little guy is the cutest thing. Like I said, I picked up the Urban Decay Beached palette, and it kind of leaned me towards picking up this palette. Cute little palette, totally affordable, nice for travel, and I have been shocked at how much I have loved this eyeshadow palette. It's a cute little guy. I know I keep saying that, but it goes on so nicely. It blends out. It just makes me happy. Every time I've worn it, I've really liked the eyeshadow look. Maybe because it's got some purple in it and it pushes me out of my normal comfort zone. I didn't even know this eyeshadow palette was coming out, and I watch YouTube every single solitary day. So if I didn't know it was coming out, I don't know what they did with this launch, but I saw it in store, I grabbed it, came home with it. I thought I'll try it. If I don't like it, I'll return it. And I quickly fell in love with it. It's traveled with me because it's so easy, it's so tiny, and I've loved every look. And I think that I have a video on the Aphrodesiac palette. I'll link it down below. Last but not least, my Too Faced Tutti Frutti collection, where they came out with the Razzle Dazzle and the Pinapple palette. These just came out in August, so I've had them for quite a few weeks now, and I've been using them a lot. I do have this eyeshadow palette on my eyes today, and these are gorgeous. Too Faced knocked it out of the park. Too Faced is bringing me back as well with their Just Peachy, and then this collection. I really, really have liked it. That was the Razzle, and then here's the Pinapple. I did do a haul with these, and I did do a quick look with the Razzle on my eyes. So you can see that down below. Beautiful palettes, and they smell so good. So these were the end of the summer, last summer palettes that I'm going to include in this video. They do blend beautifully, not anything that is ridiculously out of the ballpark for me. That's something that I had not seen color-wise before, but definitely a different texture for Too Faced eyeshadows. Definitely, I feel a better overall eyeshadow for them, and definitely some unique colors in these palettes. I thought it would be interesting to show you all the palettes that I've picked up over the summer that were summer launches for 2018, and tell you which out of all of these were my absolute favorite. And I'm actually shocked to tell you that my favorite is the Tarte Love, Trust, and Fairy Dust eyeshadow palette. I've used it the most out of all of these eyeshadow palettes, even more than the Norvina palette, which is shocking to me. It has been a really go-to for me during the summer. A quick grab it and go. It has the highlighter in it that I use a ton. And then unfortunately, my second place that I could not choose between these two is the Norvina and the Dose of Colors I Love Sarahii palette. I love these both. They're both amazing. I've used them both a ton. They are tied. They're a little bit different in color tones, and maybe that's why I can't choose between them, but I've loved both of them. I know for a fact you can pick both of these palettes up on Ulta and on Sephora. You can't get the I Love Sarahii, but you definitely can get the Norvina on Sephora.com. And I loved both of them. That's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was fun pulling out all my summertime palettes. I live in Illinois and I am dreading the fall and the winter because it's cold here forever. And so I am so not ready for pumpkin spice lattes or pumpkins at the grocery store or Halloween decor. I want summer to be around for every last second that it can be, and I want to be outside enjoying the beautiful weather. So let me know down below if there are any palettes that you picked up this summer that you really enjoyed, something that I didn't pick up, and let me know if there are any of these palettes that would have been your number one. That would be really fun for me to see down below. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I hope you'll please like and subscribe down below, and until next time, have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye!